for all of life. It is not a toy to be manipulated with toxic waste. Pharmaceuticals are unraveled, just like the AIDS virus does. You know, the gene therapy today is being touted as the savior for modern medicine. What's in store for us is genetopharmaceuticals. That's going to be the saving grace every expert's declaring on behalf of the Illuminati. And you know what gene therapy is? It's taking a bacteria, typically, or a virus, and extracting out of its innards the genetic material, leaving it's mostly viruses that's used. In the older days, they used to use bacteria as phages. But now they're using delivery envelopes. Genetic viruses, genetically modified viruses, they take the genetic strands and the any other enzymes material out of that virus, leaving a blank viral envelope. And now they inject into that new virus new DNA, new RNA, whatever they want to put in there. They mass produce it, they culture it, clone it, and then they inject it into experimental subjects, mostly military, blacks, Hispanics in the urban ghetto areas, particularly Kaiser Permanente. Kaiser Permanente goes back to Kaiser Wilhelm, his eugenics-oriented family. And ultimately, what's taking place is the exact process by which the AIDS virus works. It reinfects cells. They throw these new viral envelopes. They inject it into the human beings, mostly children. And what happens is that those viruses then release. They invade, they dock on the cells, they release the new DNA strands, and they hope that it's going to cut out the bad genetics and insert good genetics, the new good genes, in. The likelihood that that will be a successful technology is close to nil. Close to nil. And that is what they are basing their entire field of genetopharmaceuticals and gene therapy on. Now, I told you about the red blood cell being the shape of a toroid. I had the privilege of working recently with probably one of the world's, if not the world's, most intelligent, genius mathematician. His name is Marco Rodin. And I gave Marco a page in the new book, DNA Pirates of the Sacred Spiral, because I was floored by his revelations. He studied mathematics and the sacred geometry and physics of the math and the clues from ancient sources that give us a complete new view of the universe. That the patterns, the hidden patterns that he studied, in fact, touch on every part of our reality, from black holes to blood cells. The revelation that these simple mathematical patterns proves the physical manifestation of divine spirit at a most fundamental yet scientifically complex level has now been achieved. Marco Rodin's math is the fundamental basis for the ancient Pythagorean mystery school mathematics. That entire school was suppressed from the masses because it relayed the greatest truths of spirit and of effect on matter through the Creator's language, math, and the perfection of the universe in this way. Using the base 10 number system, according to Marco Rodin, but done in the ancient mystery school Pythagorean math way, with 9 as the zenith and the highest multiple digit integers added to derive their single digit between 1 and 9. 9 is completion. Rodin studied many interesting patterns. And from those patterns, including the doubling of the numbers, beginning with the number 1, yielding the pattern 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 to infinity. Notice there is no 3, 6s, and 9s in that pattern. It was Tesla who taught Keeley, John Keeley, and Royal Raymond Rife, the brilliant genius microscopist, from where we get the Rife therapy machines today. If humanity, Tesla taught, would only knew the powers of the 3s, 6s, and 9s, it would be a completely different world. When dividing by 2, the same pattern that I just shared with you was also produced, but in the reverse direction. So there's a perfection. Now, I apologize for this particular graphic. It didn't transfer well, but we're going to have to get those numbers to you so that you can see, but you can do it yourself. It's a pretty simple process. This process offers a bit of insight into the math underlying nature, balance, polarity, wherein mirroring multiples are evident. Further, Rodin used these patterns to develop the topology of a toroid in which the numbers 3, 9, and 6, not present in the infinity pattern, actually create the fourth dimension and are intimately connected with the matrix in which the math forms the physical precipitation in our universe. Rodin likens this toroidal map to the Creator's fingerprint, since it appears in every facet of the universe. Now, the implications of this mathematical discovery are limitless. One likelihood is the generation of free energy. Many great minds from the fields of physics, biology, chemistry, even computer science have been able to resolve enigmas in their fields by understanding this unique, all-encompassing mathematical system destined to become as intriguing as Fibonacci's sequence and the golden mean. And indeed, they are intimately related. Your essence, therefore, is the sacred spiritual knowledge speaks to your essence in mathematics. You are an energy being. And underlying your genetic function is a facilitation mechanism that transfers your mathematics into your spiritual magnificence and physical form. In other words, you are a magnificent manifestation of crystallized or precipitated light and sound. You are directly connected via this mathematical toroidal matrix to the light and sound of love frequencies of the entire universe, or the energies from the divine source. Call it either one. So let's discuss the practical advancing electrogenetics and healings that are taking place on the planet, at least some of the ones focusing on what we're doing in Hawaii. Many of you might ask, well, how come you dropped out of, you left your radio show, daily radio program, you kind of like you've been off the map. I've gotten a lot of phone calls. What are you doing, Len? We haven't heard from you. What have you been doing? Well, I'll show you some things that we're doing. Merrill Garnett, who's one of my heroes, he's a dentist too, and a PhD, and a cancer researcher, and developed a very effective cancer cure. Unfortunately, it's expensive and it's a pharmaceutical, so it has some limitations. But he is certainly a hero in my book in many, many ways. He wrote, quote, "There is harmony of the organism and harmony in structure that allows the transfer of energy so that the organism can live and vibrate, so it can carry on its metabolism and its replication. Those harmonies and resonances must be perceived as inherently musical, because those harmonies recur and create the organism. Ultimately, there is a musical or harmonic element within the organism which can recreate the patterns of information and energy. And this is beautiful and resurgent. This is molecular music, fragile, dependent, recurring under the right conditions based in quantum echoes and hidden physics." You're looking at the Aloha Hot Pool at this project that I've, for the last year, labored with tremendous love to help develop on behalf of the Creator and as a model to humanity. This is a hot pool that when we dug it in the shape of a puka, a little hole in the ground that was already there. And when we dug it, we hit 6 of approximately 200 active steam vents on the big island of Hawaii, and recognizing the magnificence of water and the power of that frequency coming out of volcanically heated rainwater, the power, we decided to plumb those steam vents into the side of this hot pool. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it in the world. The top, there's a couple benches. I lie there for I'm in therapy, my personal therapy. 45 minutes to an hour.